In this last video, in the series of videos where we are looking at program review for Merced College using eLumen Connect, we're going to take a look at how we can go through this process of migrating our planning summaries that were used last year and updating those into the sections included in eLumen. So one of those, we're going to be taking our planning goals, and we're going to be using the action plans in the initiatives to really start to make these links between the actions for different courses and programs that are out there, and making links to different areas to set up a database that we can use for tracking progress that we're making in these efforts to look at what's going on with students both inside and outside of the classroom, and seeing what kind of changes can be made to improve student success. And part of that equation there is this idea of sometimes the changes that you're going to make are going to require resources. And so that's where we have our resource allocation information. And we're going to start using the budget tools within eLumen. Just to remind you again, we can access eLumen by clicking on Faculty and Staff link on the Merced College website, and then coming over here to the eLumen underneath the padlock, not the public search one, and we'll get into the eLumen database. And in order to log in, remember to use your normal login that you would use to check your email or access the portal for Merced College. And so if I look at the normal kind of faculty screen that I see, you can see it's linked to your assignment for where you're teaching, and this can vary for some people that are out there. And also we can check our role here and make sure you're using the correct role, because some of you will be area coordinators that will allow you to make some extra changes. So I'm going to go into my area coordinator role right here, and this is for Area 1, and you can see these are the degrees and certificates that are associated with Area 1 right now in terms of the science, the mathematics, and the engineering that is out there. And what we want to first take a look at here is we're going to be taking our initiatives that were done last year, and so I'll pull up the biology one. And with this area coordinator, I have some extra tools that I can use to play around with some of the sections in here. But what we really want to focus on is at the very end here, in this last section, we had what was called the planning summary section. And we use that to put our planning goals and also our resource allocation information from last year into our program reviews. And what we're going to be doing this year is using some of these extra tools, including our budget tool and our action plan tool, to start making links between different programs that are out there. And so if we look at our action plan tool, and again, this is not something you're going to see if you come in with your normal faculty role right there. You have to be at the area coordinator or higher role in the hierarchy. And this is a tool where you can make a lot of choices here. So there you can see just a little bit of Area 1. You can look at and even make an action plan for dealing with a select group of courses that are out there that are included in your area. If you want to, you can click on Select None and then just type that in, and you can pull up your specific courses that you want to be included in this action plan. So there I've just set this for these two courses right there. And then click off, and you've got your list of courses that we're going to be including in this action plan that we're making. Notice you can set it up at the Merced College level or the area level, and you can also set up your time frame for when you are requesting these resources. And you can go back a few years and go forward a little bit. Again, if you want to, you can click on Select None and then just type in the kind of things that you want for fall, spring, and then summer has the U next to it. And if we click on our Add Action Plan, we can see that we have some more stuff in this template. You can give a name to your action plan that people will see when they're looking at this later on, and you can also write a longer description for what you would like. For your type, you can choose from accreditation self-study, a general action plan, or you can select on program review. And if you notice, there's a couple of other buttons that are available here. And one thing that we can use is this pick more actions. And this button isn't too useful right now because people have not put action plans in. This is the first time we're using this. So at this point, I would say to add an action. And when you look at this, it opens up a window where there's a couple of extra details that you can include here. And with this action, what we're looking for here is what are you expecting of action plan recipients? And so you can enter that in here. Here is what we would like to do. You can put it down as a reflection. This is where you can think about it and comment on it. We need some study. We need some resources. The program can work on this, or the faculty can propose different actions. If you want to, you can have resource requests. And here is where we're starting to bring in some of the budget tools into our action plan. You can link them to additional outcomes at the institutional level, at the program level, or at the course level. And so I'll click these guys here just so you can see. And then we can also pull up our link of SLOs. You can look at your course SLOs that are out there. And so you can go in and pull up this one. And if you want to say this action is going to be related to this first course outcome, right there, you can go to a different course that is out there and look at these kinds of things and say this action that we're doing is going to have an effect on students' ability to do these kinds of things. You can also go in at your program level and pull out your program outcomes. And so if you look at these kinds of things, there's a little analyze there. They're analyzing the natural world. They're interpreting the natural world. So all of these things are related. We can look at student success in the course, and we can also look at student success in the program, where we're starting to summarize all of the courses that are out there. And if you want to, you can even link this to different institutional outcomes or the general education program outcomes. So here I'm going to link up cognition right there. Use critical thinking skills to analyze. So all three of these outcomes are going to be linked to the action in this action plan template. And then when you're done, you can click on save. You can also click on save and plan. So just to show you what one looks like here I have one that I set up in advance for an action plan on new microscopes. And again, if you look at this, when you click on this little thing, the buttons up there change. You can remove this action plan, you can edit it, you can clone it, and you can also do something known as the plan here, where you can actually set this thing up to send out emails to various users through the eLumen system and ask for some more information as part of your plan there. And you can also do that using the RFI tool there, which is a request for information. Notice also we can download the resource request from your action plans that you choose, so you can actually get a list of all the resources for your budget. And if we look at this action plan right here that I created for getting new microscopes, you can see the description, buy new microscopes for the biology lab right there. This is included in the program review, and we've got a couple of different steps that are built into this action plan here. Find new microscopes for the biology lab is the first one. So there's our faculty proposed actions. Notice no resources are required to this, and this is not linked to the outcomes. Get a quote on the microscope, including shipping. Third step is to purchase the microscopes. And for this one, let's actually click to have an attachment that can be used. So if you wanted to, you could make this little change right here and have it so that you are going to be including your quote onto this little one if you wanted to. So you can see again, this is in the budget, and we can include this so that we're asking for equipment. We could ask for these different kinds of parts of the budget, and this menu is going to be changing as we update the different types or availability of budgets that are out there for the college to use. And then the last one you can see is not only are we going through the process of finding and getting a quote and purchasing, there is also one last step to this action, which is get the microscope set up and the students using them in the lab. And this is where we can actually assess the outcome. So now we can start saying, you got this resource. Well, how are your students doing with that resource? And showing at the level of the course that students are using this, and this is improving student success in the laboratory setting, and that could potentially be having an effect on their ability to get their degree or certificate from the program. And we can also use this, if we link it to the institutional outcomes, to show that we're actually able to satisfy these institutional outcomes, and we can report out all of these things to say, here is our evidence that we are actually doing these various things that we're proposing, and we can use that to prove that we're actually going through this process here. So again, this action plan tool is going to be very useful, and it's even more useful because if we look over at your initiatives, remember that we can go into our initiative right here, and if we go into the design mode, now we can actually start to link up our action plan with our goals and our objectives. So I'm going to see if I can pull this one up. For area 1, here is a general action that is out there, and there is an objective. So we've got some goals and objectives, and we want those goals and objectives to be linked to the data in this program review. And here we can actually set this up as an area coordinator to come up with a rubric. And so we can add goals and objectives to this, and if you want to, you can even go in and make changes for this. So our goal for this thing could be we want to get those microscopes for the lab, and we can actually put in a descriptor here, and when you're going through, you can click on whether or not have we met this goal right here, or have we not met this. So we can actually go through and do a tracking of all of these things by linking it to different sections throughout your program review documents. Now, there is a lot of stuff going on, and really that's why we tried to break down this process so that the planning goals that you entered last year can be used to start modeling your action plans in that strategic initiative, so we can start transferring that data, and people already have it available because there's a lot of buttons to click here. There's a lot of different selections that can be made. So by using this process, we're hoping that it'll be a little bit easier to just transfer your planning goals over to your action plans, and also update your action plans with some new information that you've generated over the past year. In the last part, we're going to take a look at this resource allocation and how we can transfer these over to use in the budget. So here I am back in my strategic planning tab over here. I am logged in with my role as area coordinator, not as faculty, because the area coordinator is going to give me access to some of these extra tools. And I'm an area coordinator in area 1, so when I click on the initiatives tab, I can pull up all of the program reviews that were included in last year's program review cycle. And if you want to, you can go over to the program review and pull up the cycle right there. But what we're going to be doing now is the budget tool over here. And you can see it's a pretty simple thing. There are no budgets included in this right now, but if you look at what was available in the last year, what we did here is basically enter our resource allocation information and our goals right here as these tables last year. And then this information was extracted out of the system of eLumen and turned into a spreadsheet at the area level, and the areas did their own prioritization. That went up to the Instructional Master Planning Committee that prioritized all of the resource allocation requests that came from the different areas there. So this year, we're going to use the budget tool in eLumen to collect all of that information. And so we can come in, and it's really simple. You can include your name and your description. The initial funds is something that we're going to be filling in here, and you can select your time frame right there. So it's not too bad in terms of entering all this information here. Oftentimes, I think this will start out as 0, and then you can also include when you're starting to ask for the money there. And so there you can see, now I've got this budget category is included right there. If you want to, you can add some more. You can edit the budget lines that are in there. You can remove it, and you can also download your resource request. So I'm just going to add a second one in here, just so you can see, and put the amount of money as 0 right now because we are still in the process of setting this up. But now you can see there's a couple of lines of these. If I wanted to, I could go in and set up some budget categories specifically for biology. But at this point, it might almost be easier to set them up for Area 1. And then we can come in here and start looking at these different features of the budget. And again, the nice thing about this is we'll be able to pull up our budget for these different areas and for the different organizations so that we can get our resource allocation straight off of the eLumen software here. And we can start doing the prioritization and using this because these budget categories can again be used to show that we are meeting our goals in the Merced College strategic plan. And again, if you want to, you can look over here under the org management, and if we come up to Merced College itself and look at this, you can see there's the mission for Merced College, and you can see all of the goals from the strategic plan and all of the objectives are available there. And by using these budget tools and using these strategic initiatives, our hope is that we'll be able to collect this information on a regular, sustainable basis. Every year, the assessments are being entered into the system. That will drive the program review initiatives and allow people to come up with some action plans, some goals on where they want to be in the future to show how they can increase student success. And by using this system, we can ask for resources where it's necessary. You can also have goals that don't require resources. Maybe you're changing your curriculum or doing some other things. Well, now we can track progress that is being made towards going through those series of steps to reach these goals. And we can monitor the progress across the campus at these different levels to see how we're doing as an institution. So again, we've seen a series of 5 videos here that have gone over this process of program review for Merced College using the eLumen Connect software. The first video, we saw those helpful resources and links that are available on the college website. I also wanted to point out that not only are these resources available on the assessment overview on the Merced College website, we are also mirroring those resources and helpful links in our Canvas page, so everybody should have access to the eLumen Assessment and Curriculum Canvas training module that is out there. And you can see these different tools that are available in the modules that are out there. So what's available on the website is also mirrored here in case people need some extra information. In the second video, we did an overview of the eLumen interface to take a look at the Strategic Planning Initiative tab and the Org Management tab. And in the third video, we looked at some of the tools available for the area coordinator, especially related to the org management, where you can set up the profile for your area and your department, and you can start listing your goals and your objectives. In the fourth video, we looked at some of the program review sections that we're updating for this year's cycle. And in this video, we looked at migrating our planning summary with our action plans and also our resource allocation into the budget tool for eLumen. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Edward Modafferi, at Merced College. You can also contact Valerie Albano if you have questions about your course outcomes assessment. And if you need help with the eLumen interface and you need something like a password reset, you can also contact Gabriela Garcia, who is the SLO and Service Area Outcome Data Assistant. Thank you for watching these videos.